Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. You know, I have no idea how Republicans get elected. It's hard to understand how Democrats do, but it's even harder because most of the things they do directly screw people. Democrats nowadays, too. Don't get me wrong. But, like, here's something, for instance. This is the kind of shit they do all the time. So, Representative Steve King pushes likely unconstitutional bill to prevent Supreme Court from citing their own Obamacare decisions. Talk about wanting to manipulate the judiciary and the whole. So, like, what is this about? You know? Well, here, let's read it. It says they literally don't want. He's trying to pass a law that makes it illegal for the Supreme Court to cite their own previous decisions. So you would think that would drive people crazy. There's separation of church, state, separation of powers. And what are you trying to do? You're overreaching. And why are you trying to manipulate the courts and the law? It says under Article 3, Section 2, which allows Congress to provide exceptions and regulations for Supreme Court consideration of cases and controversies. The following cases are barred from citation for the purpose of precedents in all future cases after enactment. So that just says that the Supreme Court can't use any of these cases that have to do with Obamacare. Even this one, Burwell versus Hobby Lobby, the Hobby Lobby Stores, Inc., which you would think they would want to use that one because that went in the right wing's favor. They said, yeah, Hobby Lobby's a religion or something. They're a person and a religion or something like that. They're going crazy. So here, there's more to this article. It says lawnews.com reached out to a pair of well-known constitutional law experts and asked them for their opinion on the constitutionality of the proposed bill. Let's say neither were confident the proposed law would pass constitutional muster. Well, the problem is the people who decide what's constitutional is the Supreme Court, who gets appointed by the politician. All right. Professor Rick Hassan from the University of California Irvine School of Law tells lawnews.com that he cannot imagine that such a bill is constitutional, as it infringes on the powers of the judiciary. By that, he means it presents a classic separation of powers problem, telling another branch of government how to do its job. You would think right-wingers would be, they would be the one pointing the finger at lefties for trying to do stuff like, they're always trying to say, oh, you were with the activists, judges, and the courts, and why are you, you would think that they would be the ones screaming at lefties for trying to manipulate. No, they're doing this. They're doing it. Hassan even questioned whether it was a serious proposal. Rather, he expects it did get Representative King some attention, which was probably the point.
Brilliant.
Like, does that actually appeal to right-wingers to do shit like that? I guess it must. That's why he did it. Or maybe he doesn't appeal to anybody, and he just thought he'd do it to get attention because it got attention. It got my attention.
Well, Jimmy, I bet there's a kind of end agenda for this proposal here, and I don't want to point my finger at a very specific case, but I have a feeling it has something to do with something that rhymes with Bo be Sade.
Roe versus Wade?
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
You think it has? What do you mean? Like they're testing the waters to see? I don't understand.
I think they're testing the waters. I mean, I think that's something they inevitably want to go after. The right has been salivating at the mouth with that for years. And if you have this new policy that you can't cite something previous, well, that would be the biggest ink mark they'd want to erase.
Roe versus Wade, they could have overturned. There's been plenty of conservative Supreme Courts, and they have never overturned it. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think maybe you're correct, though. Maybe this article's correct that Representative King is just trying to get some attention. It's weird. It's like when they pass laws to tell doctors you can't tell patients. That's the thing that. Didn't Trump just impose something similar to that for people overseas where if you're using American dollars, you're not allowed to tell poor women about birth control or anything like that? Like, that's the thing that drives me nuts when they pass laws like that. The whole thing is like, get the government out from in between me and my doctor, and then they can't wait to put the government in between people and their doctor, right?
Yeah.
So it's, yeah. It's a weird thing. But way to go, Representative. Right away, Christopher Hayes, big fan of Representative Steve. They're great friends, and he giggles every time he brings him on the show, even when he talks about how black people have done nothing for our culture.
Because he's never heard rock and roll music.
Yeah. That was Christopher Hayes' show. Brings out guys like this to tell people, oh, we're going to be taking, did you see Susan Sarandon and Josh Fox went on with Christopher Hayes? Christopher Hayes, again, just fucking perplexed at how journalism works. It's amazing what 30 grand a day will do to a lefty journalist. Just look at Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow. Fucking worthless. Hey, the next live Jimmy Dore show is March 4th. That's a Saturday. Get your tickets right below. The next one after that is March 20th. The shows sell out really fast, so get your tickets right now. Links right there.